Hey everybody, how's it going? Timmeister here, and welcome back to Bixton in City Skylines 2. In this episode, I would like to start working on some outwardly expansion for the city, because if you look down below here in my demand bar, over the last number of episodes, I've plopped a ton of residential zoning, which reduced my demand quite a bit. And you can see here that has left my commercial, industrial, and office demand pretty much pinned to the max. So I would like to provide some more jobs before expanding any further as far as residential. Because my goal for the city is really to start expanding like crazy here out in the suburbs. I would like to just create this giant sprawling metropolis, just like any other classic American city. But in order to do that, there has to be jobs in the city. So that's what we're gonna be doing this episode, and I'm gonna be spending a lot of time here by the airport. So if you look on Google Maps and go to pretty much any city around the world, you'll notice that around airports, there's always these massive kind of office parks all over the place with warehouses and kind of modern industry, that kind of stuff. So Bixton is no exception to that. I don't want to call it a rule, but no exception to that trend, I guess we'll call it. So I'm going to spend a couple minutes here just laying down some roads. I'm not going to bore you with watching me do this whole thing by hand, so I'm going to accelerate the footage, and I will check up with you guys in just a moment once all my streets are laid out. It's also worth mentioning that the reason why I'm building all of this office space and industries around the airport is to add some realism, as around most airports in the world, there's often these types of warehouses and commercial spaces and all that kind of stuff, just to take advantage of the airport's proximity. Well, I think I'm gonna have to rethink my plan here, because I really wasn't expecting my office demand to just slam all the way down to 0 with just this zonage. Because that is not the case with residential or pretty much any other zone from what I've seen. So I'm gonna pause the game real quick, and I think what's gonna have to happen here, I'm gonna replace some of these zones with industrial. And the reason why I'm doing that is it's going to create a little bit more variance within this office park, and it's going to balance out my demand a little bit. So hopefully this kind of gets rid of some of my industrial demand as well, but not all. So that means I can cover a bigger area with the demand that I have. And at least that's the theory. I don't know how well this is going to work. Even if it doesn't work though, it's not a huge deal, because I'll at least future-proof the city for future expansion, right? So even if like this whole area doesn't get built up, at least then I can start expanding with residential, and as people start moving in, it will raise the demand for industries and offices, and then I can just like build this whole area. Or at least that's how I hope it goes. So I'm gonna spend a couple minutes here just zoning about, adding all kinds of commercial, offices, a little bit of industrial. It'd be cool if there was some more like big warehouses over here. Although, you know what I could do, just kind of for looks, why don't I place another server farm over in this corner of the map, just to spread it out here. I think this is a good spot. If I remove this street, and where was I? Over here in communications. Look at that, just fits perfectly here, or actually, yeah, right here. Wonderful. And I'm just kind of now thinking of it too. I think, oh my god, yeah, I have no postal service whatsoever in this area. Why don't I have a postal sorting? Oh, you know what? I don't even have a postal sorting facility at all. Well, what a perfect location to place one of these buildings. And look at that, I got plenty of room over here. Okay, I was getting a little worried, guys, thinking I'm not going to be able to finish this whole build today. I was worried that I was just going to run out of demand before I was able to finish this whole build. But look at that, I got a postal sorting facility. Oh, geez, the terrain. Yeah, I didn't really consider the terrain. Can I move this over here? Will this fit? No, it won't fit. And it won't even fit in this orientation either. Oh, poop. Here, I'm going to make it fit, guys. I'm going to delete this road. I will delete this road. And this road. All right, so I will move the sorting facility over here. And then I will replace a road here instead. And now I'll just have to momentarily move this building. Replop this road. And then move the server farm back to where it was. Right in the middle here. And actually this is a better solution because the building just fits a little bit better in between all of these zones. And now I'm curious, what kind of upgrades can we plop? So we have a mail storage extension, which is a completely, like another warehouse completely. Now I gotta be careful here because I'm pretty darn close to the runway. What about this? Extra loading ramps. Okay, so this is an attachment for the actual building itself. So that doesn't require any more room. What if I plop this? Is this like too close to the runway, do you think? I mean, the game allows it. I think we're all right. There. So I'm going to keep it like this. I am, however, going to remove these zones here. I'm just going to have that some nice green grass. And there we have it. So we already occupied a ton of space here. Actually, you know what? Let's maybe see what else I can plop over here. So I got the postal sorting facility. You know, I could actually plop another post office over here since we don't really have the coverage. So I'm going to put one here. Oh, geez, that kind of messes up the hill, but that's fine. And while I'm at it, I may as well put a whole bunch of mailboxes in this area just so we can cover this whole place. Yeah, I can't believe I didn't have a postal sorting facility with a city this size. Like, we were overdue for one. Well, actually, yeah, we can see here that our service was kind of struggling here, so we were overdue. Oh my god, yeah, I really didn't have enough here in Auburn. There, do we got the whole city covered? Yes, we do, but no, we don't. I'm just gonna plop a couple of mailboxes here in Quincy Harbor. And over here's the post office, so we're clear with that. There, I think that should suffice. Beautiful. Oh, now over here, maybe plop a couple of mailboxes. There we go. There, and I think we're okay with that. There, and I got the post office over here. All right, so I'm gonna hit play. Let's see what this is gonna do to my demand. Is my office demand gonna like bounce back, or I wonder if it's just gonna be like a slow transition maybe to back to where it was. I don't know. And here, similar to how I do my downtowns, I'm not gonna go crazy and fill in every single available square, but rather I'm just going to build like individual buildings with a little bit of land in between. There. Oh yeah, and I can't forget, let's put some commercial down in here as well. It's always good to have some commercial zones in and around these areas. Especially that I have a ton of demand right now, so this is really going to help out. There. Just going to line this main road. Yeah, and I suspect all of these office zones are probably not going to get filled in for quite a while, but I'm going to keep zoning them as it's going to future-proof the area for the next while. And with some industries as well. And there we are. That should do it, guys. Wonderful. Oh yeah, that's right. And I got a bus depot over here. 35 buses. If I have to add some more, I have room. Sweet. Is there anything else that I can maybe add? How are we doing for... let's see here. Not parking, but... Actually, I could add some parking, but what I really wanted to do is add some road maintenance vehicles. So how are we doing overall as far as road maintenance? We're doing okay. Most roads are green. However, we only have a depot over here. I have one over here and one over here in Quincy Harbor. And one over here in the industrial park. I have like none in like the central area of the whole city. So I think this is a good opportunity to plot one right over here. And I guess just for looks... I'll just expand it to make this look like a nice big warehouse. And what else? Recycling center, I guess, would be pretty good to have. I mean, overall, garbage is doing excellent all over the town, but I think it'd still probably be worth it to put down a recycling center. And holy crap, it's way bigger than I thought it was going to be. Okay, where can I fit this? Maybe I can, like, modify this street a little bit. Or maybe over here, perhaps? Yeah, honestly, that might be a better option. Terrain is relatively flat. I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna remove this street. I'm gonna put a recycling center right here. And then I will fix my road. There we are. I don't know if I'm a fan of that. I think I'd rather have it on the same angle as everything else. Oh, and there's a ton of upgrades for this building too. There, I'm gonna plop it here. So what do we got? We got garbage truck depots. I can spawn in 15 garbage trucks. I think that's enough though. All right, so what kind of upgrades do we have here now? We got a garbage truck depot giving us 15 more garbage trucks. Hazardous waste collection point. Oh, you know what? I might as well place this because I don't have one anywhere else in the city. So I am going to plot one here. And last, we have a storage extension. We may as well plop this. Oh, crap. I should have put... Yeah, I can't fit this anymore. Okay, well, this building's going to have to go, unfortunately. And actually, you know what? Instead, I'm going to put this recycling center in this orientation because I can then fit this giant warehouse in the back like this. And oh shoot, I can't fit this. Oh my god, I'm having a rough time here, guys. Well, what if I destroy this street and then I can plop my hazardous waste facility here, and then I can simply just connect my road up like this. Yeah, I think I'll just do that for simplicity's sake. Even though it's not too simple. But it's still pretty simple. There. All right, there. That's enough moving stuff around. Hopefully everything will fit nice and snug. There. Wow, guys, I'm actually surprised by how cool this looks. It looks just like a giant office park. I was kind of worried in the start of this episode because there's not many like big warehouse type buildings in City Skylines, but with the right use of warehouse looking buildings, I suppose, you can get an area to look just like an office or slash warehouse area. All right, so for the next couple of minutes, I'm going to continue zoning here and expanding around the airport. So pretty much all of what you see me building here is going to be just a combination of office buildings, industry, a little bit of commercial mixed in between. I try to keep a good variance going just so I don't have like these massive fields full of smokestacks. So of course you need industrial buildings to make a city function, right? So no matter what, you're going to have the smokestacks. But I feel like just mixing them in between some commercial and office buildings makes it a little less intense, I want to say. That's probably not the right word to use, but anyways. And as you can see here, I'm leaving a little bit of spaces in between the warehouses, and there's going to be some green space in between these buildings, just some trees and stuff. I don't want this to be like a super densely packed area. Remember a couple of episodes ago, or it might have been last episode, but I mentioned that this wasn't my best work. This depot here, this subway depot, was really not up to standards. So I'm going to address that in this episode. I'm going to completely rebuild this area. And you'll see it's going to look a lot better in just a couple of minutes here. And, you know, I'm actually really happy with the way this turns out. So with the reconstruction, I guess, of the subway depot, I'm gonna add on to the airport a little bit. So I'm gonna provide another way of getting to the airport, so you can get to this airport from either side, right? Because we have like this main highway here kind of running in between these two separate airports that make a giant airport. But yeah, so I'm gonna do a little bit of work here, organizing some roads, getting a street layout going, and I'll show you guys what is going to happen here in just a minute. And as you just saw, I took some of your suggestions and added some elevated rail tracks to get to the airport station, and from this point it goes underground to the rest of the city. So in the beginning, I don't know why I didn't do that in the first place. I must have not been thinking straight or something, but anyways, so I fixed that. So the segment of tracks going from the depot to the very first station here at the airport is elevated. However, I added a second track that goes underground that bypasses the entire airport. So I don't know if the trains are going to be smart enough to use it in that sense. But even if they don't, it's fine. It's just one stop. So it's not going to make a huge difference. So here I am plopping down some parking lots. Of course, every airport needs plenty of parking. Unfortunately, I couldn't get an overground parking garage to fit. So I opted for some smaller, just regular parking lots all over the airport area. I decided to add some, I guess, long-term parking, or maybe like some phone lots on the outskirts of the airport. But I think it still looks cool. They're kind of just like filler parking lots. I don't think they're going to get used very much, but you know, sometimes you just got to go out of your way to create some good looking areas that are not functional. It's okay to do that. All right, guys. Wow, a ton of progress this episode. I hope you like what I have done over in this corner of the map. As you can see, I've recreated my little loop thing here for the metro lines, and that was just to prevent there from being like any no connection icon. So I don't know if this is actually necessary. I kind of felt like it is, so here it is. Okay, so I'm pretty much done what I wanted to do this episode. Just a few little things left to do, but I got another idea for another warehouse looking building. I'm gonna plop maybe a couple of emergency battery stations. So if I plop one like right here, for example, let's take a look what this looks like. You know, yeah, it looks actually very warehouse-ish. And we can actually plop some upgrades to this building too. Wow, that's pretty cool. Diesel generators and additional battery banks. Oh, this looks like it's just part of the original lot size. The only thing is, I have to connect this to the power grid now. I did not realize that. But of course, that totally makes sense. But I think in this case, I may as well just... Oh yeah, look, I can connect up over to this line over here. I don't know how much sense it makes to just run a power line right under a runway, but let's just go around the runway like this, and then we'll connect this up to this substation over here. And there we go. Yeah, so actually this building is really cool. An emergency battery station. You never know when disaster is going to strike. So I think this is a really good building to have in your city regardless. Yeah, so I think I could probably maybe plop a few more of these, but at the same time, I don't think I will, because having to like hook up every single one to the grid, it's kind of unnecessary. But yeah. Oh, this is cool. All right, so we're charging the backup batteries. It's going to be full in 3.5 minutes, and then we can see how much charge it actually has. That is really, really cool. I think it's about time that I had a battery station, because they're honestly not even that expensive, and they're probably really worth it in the event that there's a big disaster. So, yeah. All right, so one more thing I want to do. I got this great idea from my buddy Imperator. And I recently watched his airport build for inspiration, and he had plopped a ton of solar farms near his airport. And I don't know, it just looks really cool. I figured I would plop one over here because of this like massive open space that we have in this region. And actually, you know what I could do is... no, I won't. Well, yeah, I sort of will be able to. I think instead of going underground for this segment, I will simply go off in this direction all the way over here, and I will just connect up to this power line. And that power line goes to this edge of the map over here. There. Wow, that looks really cool, guys. Actually, you know what? May as well just put a battery backup over here too. Just to kind of fill this in a bit more. Does this actually count for a road? No, I don't think it does. Nope. It'd be cool if it would. That's all right. I'll just put a little road off to the side here, and then I will put my battery bank not too close to the runway. There we go. And I am simply going to run this cable underground, and I'll connect it up to here. There, that is wonderful, guys. So all that's left to do is to fill in this little chunk of land here. So I will quickly do that. Here, I'll do like this, and I will fill in some commercial zones, just like this. Oh my god, guys. My demand is just as high as it was at the beginning of the episode. Oh my god. But that's okay. At least it looks like it's raising the residential demand a fair bit. And like anything else in this game, I think we'll just have to give it a little bit of time to stabilize, you know, for all these jobs to become occupied and whatnot. But it looks like we gained a fair amount of population this episode as well. Look at that. 111,000. I think I started off the episode around 108,000. Something like that. So yeah. Very, very exciting, guys. So I think what I'm going to do with all of this available land here is I'm just going to fill it up with residential. Maybe a little bit more, a few more offices, that kind of stuff. Over here is probably going to be a big office park as well. And then around this big old lake here, it's going to be all residential, I think. But yeah, look at that, guys. This is very, very exciting. Huge expansion going on. Well, I was about to call the episode, and then I figured might as well just finish the whole area between the airport and the highway, that big open space. So I'm going to take a minute here just to add some shrubbery around the land around the runways. Just some little bushes and stuff. Nothing that's going to grow into like massive trees or anything. But yeah, here it is. So I laid out a bunch more roads, a bunch more streets, and I'm just going to take a couple of minutes here to zone a bunch of commercial, offices, industrial, as I normally do. So this is going to be like another big industrial slash office park. But a lot of the land that is between the highway and the airport is going to be residential. So this little neighborhood here that I just built is kind of going to be nestled in between all of this, you know, commercial and residential and whatnot. So this is going to be a pretty generic neighborhood. You know, not every part of the city can be amazing and you know, all that kind of stuff. You still need to build all the boring parts of town. So this is exactly what I'm doing here. So I'm going to just provide all the basic services that this neighborhood needs. So schools, a little hospital, clinic, all that stuff. But it's going to complete the area. You know, as boring as this area is it's still, you know, a pretty integral part of the city. It's going to add a couple thousand people to the population as well, which is really cool. And, you know, for each little boring neighborhood that we build in town, as we zoom out and look at the whole city, it's really an integral puzzle piece to the city as a whole, right? Because as I stated in the beginning of this episode, my goal for this city is to really create a typical American city with just miles and miles of urban sprawl, and this is just a little piece of that. But in the coming episodes, I'm still going to have a ton of room just around the corner on the other side of the airport. So I think I'm going to plop down some more industries, some more offices, that kind of stuff. I checked my menus, and I still have a ton of signature buildings to unlock. So I'm probably going to plop a few of those once we unlock them pretty soon. But anyways, so that's going to do it for this episode. Here is actually a few cinematic shots of what I built so far. Unfortunately, the bug that prevents the camera from going any higher is still on the Tampere map. So this is as high as I can go for my cinematic shots. So forgive me for that. But anyways, it still gives you an overview of what's been built this episode. So huge expansion, really exciting. And yeah, so guys, that's going to be it for me for today. I thank you so much for watching. And as usual, make sure you drop a like, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, of course. And I will catch you in the next video. Take care.